Hi friends, welcome to my channel, and this is Veritas Backup Exec Advanced Rating tutorial, and this is second video in this series. And in the last video, which was the introduction video and first video of in this series, we have gone through the everything which you need to basically understand how the what are the things you can do by Veritas Backup Exec, and what is the latest feature which is available in 20.21.1, which we are going to do in this series. Installation configuration, and we are going to use that 20.1 series edition, or you can say the version of Veritas Backup Exec in this video. So after the introduction, let's come, and this is the one of the most important, I can say most important part of this video, where we are going to do the installation for Veritas Backup Exec, and we'll see how the console look like and what are the things you have to do post installation for the Veritas Backup Exec, and if what are the things you can basically configure to get the best console as per your requirements, so you can see how the Backup Exec is going to look like. So let's get started and proceed with the installation. So first we need to set up the environment. So Backup Exec, it basically require one server in your environment, which server you are going to use as a Backup Exec server, and you can install and configure Backup Server Management Console on your machine, any of machine or server you can, from where you can connect to the Backup Exec server. So in this video I'm using two servers. So my first machine is Win2K19 DC01, which is my basically domain controller, which is running Active Directory and DNS server, and my domain name is labsandson.com. so here is my machine. So you can see this machine. So Active Directory and DNS is running on this machine, you can see, and this machine is Win2K19 DC01, and my domain name is labsandson.local, and this is basically my domain controller. And the second machine is going to be my Veritas server itself, which is going to run Windows Server 2019, and this is going to host my role, which is going to be a Backup Exec server, and I have joined this machine in domain. So post the installation, this is a brand new machine. I have just done the installation, Windows patching, and I have joined this machine, renamed the machine as a Veritas server, and configure the IP address, and then join this machine in domain. So this is a brand new machine, and I have one C drive of you can say 60 gig and 500 GB D drive, which is going to be used as a Veritas local disk backup for local backup for my infrastructure. So let's get started. So before proceeding, you need to know the installation requirement for the Veritas backup server. So you can do installation on x64 or x86 both. So this is going to be recommended, is going to be a 4 core. So I recommend to go with minimum 8 cores. So if you want to get the good performance from machine, and then you have a memory, so minimum 1 GB and OS above the OS requirement, and 2 GB is recommended. So I'm using 16 gig here, and I also recommend you to go with the minimum 16 gig. And installation 2 GB for product installation, 4.5 GB for Microsoft.NET framework and other installation. And operating system, it does support Windows Server 2008 R2 Service Pack 1.2 up to the latest one, which is Windows Server 2019. And automatic software installation during setup. So these are the few application which is going to be automatically installed during when you run the installation basically. And the SQL database server is also required, so it's going to be a minimum SQL Server 2014, and SQL Express also you can install with minimum Service Pack 2. And note, this is most important thing, you cannot install Backup Exec or a agent on Windows on a volume that has been enabled for the data duplication in Windows, or REFS volume, or cluster share volume. So you cannot do the installation for Backup Exec on these mentioned thing. And also you cannot install the Backup Exec server on a computer that is running Windows Core. So this is also an installation option, or Windows Server 2008 or later. So these things you need to make sure before installing the backup exec server, and this is the screen which you are going to get after post installation. So if you want to go ahead and download the Veritas 60 days trial, you can go to veritas.com, and you can, from there you can just click on free 60 days trial, and it's going to take you to the this page where you can fill your information and you can get the image downloaded. So this is good. So now I'm going to my Veritas server, and from here you can see I have already downloaded and mounted the Veritas installation media, which is approx 3.3 GB in size. So I'm going to open it, or also you can double click this. So it's going to basically run the installation. So you can see this is the installation wizard. So you can see the getting started. This is some documentation part. Here you can see pre-installation and install product. So before installing the product, you need to go and do the pre-installation. So if any environment, if it's going to find anything wrong with your computer or missing thing, it will install everything by default. So just click here, and what the things it's going to check. So you can say reviewed by environment check. So just go ahead and click next, and which server you want to check. If you want to check any remote server as a backup exec, you can do that. So I'm going to do on remote environment check. So this local server is going to be as a used as a backup exec. So you can see the backup exec environment check 2.0. So click next. Now you can see it's going to run the environment check. So this completed with the check. So you can see here Windows Server service check, it's got one error. So like no service not started, server service not started. So you can go and install the, start the service. So basically everything else you can see successful, and only one thing you can see Windows Assessment Toolkit which is missing. So you can go ahead and download this also. So first I'm going to rerun the check once again. So now you can see after rerunning everything looks good. So I can go ahead and close this, and now let's go on installation. And here you can see everything which is you can install. So on the installation you can see backup exec. This is our main product, and if you want to install the backup exec agent, you can get it also. So let's go here and click on install. So setup launcher is going to launch. So the installation is going to take approx, I guess 10 to 15 minutes, because it's going to install SQL Server also, and then Veritas. So a lot of other prerequisites also it's going to take care by automatically installing all the prerequisites, as you can see in this screenshot. So a lot of things to install, so it will take some time. So now I can go ahead and close this also, and if you go to getting started, you can see everything. So backup exec installation, Veritas software license agreement. So I accept the agreement, click next, and typical installation. And if you want to do a custom installation, you can do that also, like install remote administration console, post the backup exec. So I'm going to use the typical ones. This is going to take care of everything by default. So click next, and this is going to environment check. You can see everything looks good here. So there was one warning you can see where it's saying we don't have ADK installed, so you can install it later on also. So now let's click on next. So here if you don't put anything, it's going to install on 60 days trial. So go ahead and click next. So you can see the this trial copy of backup is going to enable, and that's fine. So here you can see the Veritas admin username. So this is my basically a domain account, which you can see here created in Active Directory. And since this server is joined in Active Directory, so I have logged in with the domain account. So go to India server, you can see this is my server, Veritas server, and user, you can see here Veritas admin. So I'm going to type the password for this account and click next, and this is going to say this Veritas admin has been granted for the following login service in the app. So that is good. So now if you want to deploy an agent right away, you can add your servers to install a multiple server or anything, you can do that also. So I recommend to go ahead and install backup exec only, and you can do this installation later on also. So go ahead and click on next, and here you can see what this installation is going to do. So it's going to install backup exec, online documentation, virtual tape library support, duplication feature, agent for veeam and VMware and Hyper-V, agent for application and database. So this is good, and this is going to be a trial mode, and let's click install, and now you can see this is going to install all the prerequisites which we have discussed before in this video. So these all prerequisites it's going to install, and then post the installation you will see everything installed. So this is good. So if I go and show you now what program we have, so here you can see we have only VMware tools and two Visual C++, which is basically requirement for VM's tool, since we are doing this environment setup on VMware workstation. So now everything is going to be installed from the Veritas itself. So you can see the this is installing Microsoft SQL Express version, and then it's going to install .NET 4.0 and other few things also. So I'm going to pause the recording here, and once the installation is done I'll resume from there, and we'll log into Veritas console and we verify a few other things. And also I was discussing about this thing, if you want to go ahead and see this documents, you can go and see this document. This is basically a PDF file which you can see administration guide for basically for Veritas, or also you can see the this video, lot of video they have on Veritas, so you can see those also. So let's wait for installations to get finished, then we will resume from there. So now you can see the installation is finished, and if you click on reboot finish, it's going to take your reboot for this machine. So I recommend you to go ahead and make sure you reboot the machine post the installation. So I'm going to take one reboot. So before reboot I can go here and show you what everything got installed. So like SQL server installed and all other dependencies, and Veritas server is backup exec is also installed. So this is good. So now I got one Veritas backup exec setup on my screen also basically, and you can see the restart is pending. So I'm going to take the reboot for this machine. So let's take the reboot, and post the reboot I'm going to show you what all the how to log into console, Veritas backup console, and what are the things you need to do at first task post installation setup. So let's wait for a few seconds to get the machine rebooted, and then we'll log in and start. So now I'm going to hit Ctrl+Del and log in with my Veritas admin account. Now you can see on the desktop we have a Veritas backup exec icon. So just double click on it and it will launch the console, and you can see on right top it's showing the trial version. So basically we install the 60 days trial version. So connecting to localhost, and this is how the console look like. So you can see what are the new features is supported on this backup exec setup. So you can see like always on availability group backup is supported, and SharePoint 2019 supported. So these things is supported. So I'm going to select don't show again, close. Now you can see here the if you on home page, you can see these all the console which is showing. So you can see whatever like you want to see or you want to hide, you can basically select from here and you can hide everything which is not required as per your requirement. So basically I hide everything. So you can activate like alerts. If there is any active alert, you can see alert history, you can see backup status, backup size, you can see. So this is going to be a size in a graph, so you can see the trend, how the trends is look like for your backup environment. So you can see like if you want to select for only full or incremental backup for differential, you can see all here. And storage status also you can see currently it's showing not configured, so you can go ahead and configure. And instant cloud recovery status also you can see if you configured. So Azure resources are not configured, so I'm not going to configure it. So configuration task also you can see what are the configuration tasks. So like email and text notification is not configured, data discovery is not configured. So these things you can configure basically. So and simplified disaster recovery, if you want to configure, you can configure that also. Database encryption keys and license status also you can enable. So in case whatever license you are using, you can see those things here. And virtual machine backup you can configure. So these are the things which you can configure on your main screen. So it's depend on you what you want to see, you can configure that way. And if you see here, we have one column. If you configure this way, so it's going to give you everything in one column. You can configure two column, also narrow wide. So this side is going to be narrow and this side is going to be a wide. And three column also you can configure. So I recommend you to select whatever you feels comfortable with. So also you can move the basically tabs up and down, like whatever you want to configure on main setup, you can configure that. Like I want to see my virtual machine backup at top, so I can configure that also. So like this you can move around whatever things you want. So the console is very clear, very simple and fully customizable, so you can customize as per your requirement. So and now if I go here, you can see backup and restore. So currently you can see this is our Veritas server, it's never backed up, and you can see all the drive is also showing here. So this is good. So you can see everything to all your servers which is registered here, and job monitor and storage. So these things we are going to see in upcoming videos, where we'll see how to configure, how to add server, how to create a backup jobs, and you can how you can see the job on it and everything. So currently I'm going to configure my storage, because you can see storage has not configured. You must configure storage to run backup. So this is most important thing after deployment. So I'm going to click on configure storage. So you can see all these things are supported by backup exec tool. So I'm going to configure here basically disk-based storage, which is going to be my local disk. So local or remote disk you can configure, disk attached devices, deduplication disk storage. So everything you can configure. So I'm going to select, basically I'm going to make my D drive, which is 500 GB drive, as a local backup repository, you can say. So click next, and it will show you deduplication disk, import legacy backup disk to a disk folder, and this is going to be my disk storage. So we'll see other options also. So I'm going to type here like Veritas local disk, and you can click next. If you want to give description, you can also give. So you can see it's automatically detecting my local disk. And if you want to have a network path, you can see give the UNC path also. So I'm going to give my local this. So this is good, and it's going to give you like backup exec format the local disk if it's not already formatted. So that is fine. So no data overwritten. So click next. And concurrent writes operation, this is one of the most important thing whenever you assign any disk or any storage, how many concurrent write session you want to allow backup exec to run on that machine. So whatever number you want to schedule for the backup, it's going to take that. So basically you can run 2 backup jobs on the same time with this this on this disk if you go with the 2. So I'm going to make it 4, or maybe you can increase as per your requirement. So I'm going to go with 4 as of now and click next, and here what we are going to support. So click on finish. So now you can see it's created this drive, Veritas local backup, and you can see the size and status. You can see here active and schedule job, nothing. And basically when you double click on that, you can see all the jobs, job history, backup set, everything you can see from here. And also you can see like you can configure the disk, what is the critical. So let's say I'm configuring 10% critical and 20% as a low. So you can configure anything as per your requirement. So just click on apply, so it will update. So if this disk goes less than 20%, it will show you the load disk space. So this is basically threshold you can enable as per your configuration. And all this is the path where the backup exec data is going to reside. So you can see this B data, which is backup exec data. Here the backup is going to be stored, and maximum file size is going to be 50 GB. You can customize this also if you want to see, like go with the maximum file size. I want to go with 40 GB, so you can configure that also. So this is good. So you will see overall option like used capacity, backup data written, available capacity, compression ratio, everything you can see from here. So this is good. So now you can see also reports, custom reports, configuration report, everything you can see here, like device based. So we'll see all these options in upcoming video. Also if you have a Azure recovery, instant recovery, cloud recovery on Azure, you can configure that also with the Azure site recovery. So this is good. So in next video I'm going to show you how to configure few servers with backup exec. So this is all about installation of Veritas backup. So thank you for watching, and please subscribe me for more videos. And if you have any query, any question related to this, you can always post them in my given mail IDs. Thank you once again. Bye bye.